I want a hipster-ass Italian bar. That'd be awesome.
Enzo Manzo's meatballs.
Manzo meatballs. I love a meatball shop.
I know you do.
Oh, they sell their meatballs?
Yeah, different types of meatballs.
Yeah, like
It's like a
there's a place
sausage
in New York that just has
Meatball shop. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like roast kosher, but for meatballs.
Yeah.
Big giant meatballs. Okay, welcome to this week's 3 in 15. This week we have Emylee Covell, More Than Just a Wife and Adventure. Tyler Manzo, what did you just call it? Enzo
Meatballs Express.
That's cool. Jeff Scarborough.
Did you forget?
I didn't forget. I was trying to think of something funny, but it just don't go Jeff Scarborough. We have Bauer.
Look at Power! He's got all the advice.
And apparently I'm still Pieter Vodden.
Pieter Vodden.
Nothing changes, unfortunately. Question number 1 this week from our members is, how do I stave off a cold? Emylee, we're going to start with you because you have more colds than anyone I've ever known.
That's so true. I got crushed this year. So
maybe you can start with how not to stave off a cold since you always...
How not to stave off a cold. No. I will say, as soon as you feel it coming on, you know when it's coming, and at that point you have a choice, right? To venture on. What did you say? What's the best way to stave off a cold is not drink, right? Yeah. So not drinking, making sure that you're going to sleep on time, doing everything within your power to control your environment, give yourself as much rest and recovery as possible. But I have to tell you. Our friends down at Glowing Juices, juice shop down the street in Echo Park, I went there and did I felt a cold coming on, got back from a Joshua Tree weekend on Sunday. Monday woke up feeling horrible, went to Glowing Juices, got one of their shots, lemon, cayenne, pepper, turmeric, all that, but the garlic was the key, man.
Yeah.
I've had tons of those shots before, and they're I guess I feel good. But the garlic, as soon after I took it, my sinuses opened up. It made me not feel as achy and fatiguey and going on with my day. So I'm all about that garlic life. I hope you don't mind, honey.
I don't mind at all. I think there's a lot to be said for the old the natural remedies.
Oh yeah.
Garlic being one, oil of oregano is a really good one.
Yeah.
Just those things are packed full of as many micronutrients as you can possibly get.
And then in terms of taking something, we every year for Christmas in my stocking I get a massive supply of Sambucol.
Yeah.
That is one of the best things you can take, better than Dayquil, NyQuil.
We should say at this point, Emily's dad, Marlon, is probably the best underground naturopath
Absolutely.
that we know. He could make a living out of stuff, but he doesn't. He just does it under the table. But
It's true. He just does it for his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sambucol.
Any tips from you boys?
Well, to go, I would say just you're feeling the cold coming on, and you can either go 2 ways. You can rest up or you can not rest up, and I think that you make that decision, and I think you really do have to just slow yourself down and rest up, because that's the biggest form of recovery and sleep, and just take care of yourself and don't try to just overdo it, because you probably end up really sick if you do.
Right, yeah, a couple days of scaling back is going to allow you to keep going, instead of 5 days of pushing forward and then 5 days of being out.
Yeah. That's what bad it gets cold. So mainly
look at it. Never.
Yeah, for me it's it kind of I'll start to feel sick, and I'll either feel really about to feel sick, or I'm just kind of can feel it a little bit. But for me, it's always been vitamin C. So I always had those emergency things on me.
Yeah.
And for me personally, just because I've been doing it for so long, I just kind of know it works for me, and I do work out through it, but I just work out in a certain way. I would never do something like we just did. It would just be something long, aerobic.
Yeah.
Pop a vitamin C when I get home, and then I'm good to go.
And I don't work out. If I feel sick, I will not work out.
Yeah.
But then once you start
worse.
feeling better, finding that moment where you're at maybe 70% better, you're okay, let's move. Let's try to flush this out. Yeah.
I've had 2 really good tips in my life when it comes to cold. One was 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 2 hours until you poop yourself.
Poop yourself.
Yeah.
You can't even say it right.
You can't say poop or vitamin right.
The second one, probably the best one, I got from an old actor. He said to me, "I've never had a cold in my life."
Never.
I was like, "What?" He was like, "Every time I feel a cold coming on, I pour a super hot bath, I pour a large glass of whiskey, I drink the whiskey in the bath, I sweat it out by the time I get out of the bath. I'm
Brilliant.
good as gold."
That's great.
Never
That's
had
actually something. I was at Mr. Olympia doing a trade show for a supplement company that my dad had. Yeah, seriously. And then you're better. You just drink it all out. And my dad got me the Tennessee honey whiskey, and I like sipped that. I was just sipping it all weekend, feeling, you know. Definitely underage at that time, but it didn't matter because it was in the name of being sick.
So basically, either go to Glowing Juices or to the bar.
Yeah, glowing juices in the bar.
Either work.
Man, is that what you gathered from this?
Yeah.
We're crushing
Okay,
it.
next one. Let's do this one next, actually. How do you naturally increase testosterone? You know, obviously, we get this question quite a lot because, you know, we have a lot.
Why do you get this question a lot, Peter?
Because I'm dramatically high in testosterone.
Dramatically.
Obviously, there are a lot of guys who want to gain a good deal of muscle mass and increase strength, and testosterone, growth hormone are the biggest two kind of hormonal builders for that kind of thing. And if you don't want to go down the artificial route, how do you naturally stimulate these hormones? Tyler, do you want to start with this? Just because
Lift heavy weight.
Yeah.
Lift heavy ass weight. Lift compound heavy weight, deadlift, squat, and press. And we're talking like the traditional heavy 3, heavy 5. It's just been proven over a lot of studies to naturally increase testosterone.
Tyler, what do you think?
We're listening, I swear.
Testosterone, and I mean that's the big one for me. I know that it's interesting. Like after a couple days of lifting heavy, I just actually feel all around like just better, more energized. Rather than like these longer like CrossFit style workouts where you just rep. Sometimes it's good just to lift like a heavy 3 deadlifts and almost call it a day after that. Or a heavy squat,
sure.
And that's going to dramatically increase testosterone naturally.
Yeah, I think there's a tendency when you're trying to put on size to just chase the pump all the time.
Yeah.
Because when you lift heavy like that kind of 1 to 5 rep range, you don't get the same kind of pump. You have to think of it more as a hormonal lift. You're trying to boost those hormones. So a lot of people, they avoid them because they're thinking, I don't get that same pump sensation, but they're not taking account of the hormonal benefits of heavy lifting. So that combination, I think, of the heavy lifting and the more hypertrophic lifting is what gives you the best, best bang for your buck.
What did we talk about last week? It was stress, double training days. What was the third one? Do you remember?
Sleep.
I think it was something to do with sleep.
So anyway, all that kind of stuff for me plays a huge factor into it. And like kind of like what you guys are just saying, like about lift. Like sometimes you can go too much one way where it's like you're chasing the pump, or like something that I have a problem with is the other way where like they'll call it like a met head, like metabolic conditioning, and all I want to do like my focus that day is to do strength and just to do strength and to get stronger and more powerful, blah blah blah, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go do 5 laps around the park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm always like fighting this urge to overtrain. So for me, it's that overtraining and not doing it, and like kind of like that lecture I give about like varying energy systems, whether you're doing your 10-second sprints or just like doing heavy lifting for a day, short intervals or longer aerobic conditioning. Like yesterday, I wanted to, I really like the build workout that was going on, but I knew I kind of beat my body up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I put the bike outside and I just did 60 minutes of like aerobic conditioning, and it was like super slow, barely broke a sweat. But doing things like that and being conscious of what I've done the days before is like what keeps me healthy, keeps my testosterone higher. And then my diet. Remember, like again, like we talked about last week, like when I was cutting carbs out of my diet and I was just eating protein and fat and overtraining and doing all that, like. Bye. I hope the hands kind of gesture what we were talking
The finger was a little too much. I think
what we were talking about, but
man.
Nutrition and training properly for me is very important.
Yeah, and don't forget, sleep is crucial. You know, you release the most testosterone and growth hormone when you sleep. You know, if you want to release the most amount of those natural hormones, you've got to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. There's no getting around it. The other great one for me is magnesium. If I take magnesium, this is a little too much information, but if I take magnesium before I go to bed, I wake up with a much stronger erection in the morning.
It's true.
True.
ZMA is one of the. I mean, if you want to look at supplement-wise, like ZMA, so zinc, magnesium. Zinc helps, release testosterone and it works well, but magnesium, man, I feel the exact same way. And like for a while, I was like, what is going on? What's different? And I was like, the magnesium.
It's magnesium. And the thing is, for you guys out there, if you're not waking up with an erection, there's probably an issue. There's probably, a testosterone problem that you need to look into. But definitely for me, magnesium.
So how do you want to sum this one up?
So if you're not waking up.
Lift heavy, but don't overtrain.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Sleep. Hone in on your nutrition and take magnesium.
And Joan, try not to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you got a cold, in which case drink it in the bath.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Next question, final question. Kind of for me, why do you program build in 3-week cycles? But you guys can
What's
answer.
going on over there?
Birds. That's like a look
There's a bird.
We got skylights
on
and
the
then
ceiling.
birds like tapping on them.
So let's ask Emylee, because she knows. Why do I program build in 3-week cycles?
Are you putting me on the spot?
I know.
Absolutely.
Because you know me better than anybody.
This actually is not true. I won't answer this as well as you will, and I'm feeling awfully embarrassed being on the spot now. But by doing 3-week cycles, they're...
You got called out in class. It's like, chapter 1, what did you learn?
But
I didn't read the book.
No, but like especially since this is a strength and hypertrophy class, by changing the stimulus every 3 weeks, you elicit a much different response. You resist plateaus by switching things up every 3 weeks. So I would say that that's what I noticed by us having in the past year of our programming. People have been able, not a person has come in with that plateau comment. And constantly changing things up and changing the stimulus,
Yeah, I mean for me it's 3 weeks because it's enough to be able to monitor progressive overload. So I can have a starting place, finishing place, and I can see progressive overload over the 3-week period, and I know that I'm getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But it's not so long that people get the problem with monotony, they get the problem with the adaptation, they get the problem with plateau, all that kind of stuff. And one of the biggest things in any gym is keeping things interesting, and it's not necessarily, you can easily do a 6 to 8 week program and it will be effective. The problem you get with a lot of people is they just get bored.
Yeah, and you're programming for 300 people.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And doing your 3-week cycles is perfect. And a lot of times if we're doing German volume training, come the beginning of the 3rd week, people are like, okay, people are done, but knowing that they only have one more week to do it, they're like, okay, I can push through this.
I can't
If
tell
it was
you,
a 6-week cycle, no.
dude, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, you know what, this year I'm gonna do small off, and I'm gonna complete small off, and by week 2, week 3, I'm like, dude, I am just, I hate myself. I hate it.
Yeah.
I get bored, and even though the results of small off is a squat cycle, what is it, 4 weeks? True.
There's a couple of different ones. It's small off and small off junior, but yeah, it's basically 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Yep.
But the junior is what, 3 days a week of squatting?
Yeah.
I think it's
4 days a week.
4 days a week.
Yeah, 4 days a week of squatting. And it's these cycles. I agree, and I think that by the end of the 3 weeks, I think because I coach our build class on Fridays. That 3rd week, everybody hits that last rep of that 3rd week, and everyone's like,
thank God.
thank God.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's done. So I think it's a motivational thing for me. You have to stay motivated, you have to stay interested, and I just find that 3 weeks is just long enough. Yeah, the sweet spot, not just long enough, but not too long.
And in your point of saying keeping things interesting, I think some programming falls into the making up new exercises, keeping things interesting.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're in your 3-week cycles, you're still doing the basics.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's not
still
like you're
primary
creating
lifts, it's
new
not-
exercises. You're just like changing the delivery system and how
100%.
you know
Yeah.
how it like feels in your body.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my biggest bugbears is like
Gosh, I think you're so cute.
trying to change things. I've got to change things, so I'm going to make up this ridiculous exercise, all this stuff. It's like, you don't need to do that shit. You just need to change the protocol. You just need to change the sets, the reps, the rest, the tempo, all those things. That's what overcoming plateaus to me. It's not inventing new things.
Yeah, and especially with strength. I mean, build is our strength class,
I
right?
think that's us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, build is our strength class. And like, you know, everybody's always, if you're coming from a CrossFit background, constantly varied all the time, it's like every single workout needs to be different. Yes, in aspects of like, okay, do that with conditioning. Have fun, go at it with making up different workouts. But when it comes down to strength, you need to, do the dirty
The
work.
best
You
athletes in
need
the
to-
world are not doing Metcon after Metcon. Like they're still following strength programs.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, guys, that about wraps it up for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Val. You were invaluable today. Invaluable.
Crushed it. You're really good on the camera. You're so good.
Okay, guys. Any questions, please fire away to us via the app, Ask The Pac. You can ask us absolutely anything about health, fitness,
Or taking care of
morning
pets.
glory.
I thought he was going to ask if they have any questions. If you guys have any questions, then no one's watching.
Okay, guys. See you next week. Thank you.